My name's Chris.
And I'm Kristie.
This is the Washing Up Podcast, and it's Bread Week.
Woo! We've risen to the occasion and other puns of that nature.
And other like puns.
Yeah, we needed to do this.
Well, you're already hitting the drinking game. Well done.
Insert buns here.
So let's just quickly, before we get into the episode, before we get into everything to do with it, I'm going to begin this week by running through the drinking game because a lot of people tweet us out and go, are you going to go through the drinking game and make sure we worked it out? So Baker mentions they don't eat bread. Didn't happen.
No.
I was so pleased. I'm used to that happening. I did like later on where Laura made a couple of statements about rye, which we'll talk about. And I in particular will talk about.
I like rye.
Because I'm 100% on Laura's side. Anyway.
No, you do that.
Baker has a cup of coffee or tea.
No, we didn't see that.
They had bread in the oven and they didn't do it.
I know. There was lots of proving going on.
There was lots of walking around talking about what bread was supposed to look like when none of them had ever seen it before.
There's a lot of talk of slits.
Innuendos.
Lots to be had.
Not many were actually taken.
No, there was some
There were
thrown out.
slit comments and nothing happened.
There was talk about a crunchy top and a hollow bottom, and none of that got picked up.
There were all of those sort of bits and pieces. And nothing was said. I was a bit disappointed. Mel and Claire distract a contestant while under the pump. I'm kind of wondering if Mel and Claire are in there at times.
They were very quiet. There was a lot of focus on the bakers. That's cool.
It's good. But the other reason,
lots of people in the shed.
The other reason is we've still got a full shed. Right, Mel and Claire.
We're only one down.
They shine later on. One down, but two down. But Instagram references didn't happen again.
No.
The dough is underproofed. God damn, you would have been drunk.
Yep.
That one there would have got you. Praise of butter. That happened.
Yes.
That did happen a few times, actually.
That's good.
Puns based off kneading. It was in the opening scroll through the episode.
I'm so glad I didn't make the suggestion of the rise to the occasion because that happened too. But that was only once. It wasn't as bad as
the kneading was.
The kneading was
and the dough was overworked. Indeed, I was going to put into the game the double whammy of underproofed and overworked, and I didn't, and I should have because poor Wynn had a bit of a night. I thought
Wynn had no win.
No win. No win. So it was Bread Week. Bread Week is usually a week that everyone looks forward to. I mean, I think Bread Week this year was interesting.
I liked it. I don't think it was exciting, but it was interesting. Maggie's bake was fantastic. I enjoyed the skulls. It just made me hungry.
Yeah, I thought that it didn't have the same level of glitz and glam that some bread weeks have. It sounds really weird to say that about a bread, but I think that the baking quality that they were after was higher, and I think that what they were trying to get them to do involved specific techniques and specific things that the bakers should be able to do.
Because you can go for flashy, and this is no thing.
Because we did Canadian last week,
which had the bread bread
sculptures
week,
and stuff,
and they did the sculptures, which was so good to look at. But this week, I was just hungry watching those pretzels. Call me a basic bitch. I'm here for Don.
Well, we're not calling you a basic bitch, Don, by the way.
I'm calling myself a basic bitch because I like basic pretzels. And those, you do not need to fancy it up. Your German pretzels, I'm here for Don.
And speaking of Don, just to get into that,
salty Don.
Let's talk about Don for a minute.
Pretzels,
aprons.
Yes.
So we had a bit of a chat during the week.
Turns out they're not Christmas presents.
No. They're custom made.
Oh yeah.
And apparently we're not getting a custom made combi van one, and I'm really sad now.
Aww.
I like today's one. Was it French? It looked like it was French.
It was French, oui. I believe it was.
I think so. I mean, Don, you can confirm or deny that. But
yes, because he and his partner went to France.
They did go to France, but it was the
partner or husband. They married? Are you hitched, Don?
Hitched, Don?
Just drop us an Insta. Drop us a tweet.
Drop us an Insta. You're down with the hip kids.
Oh yes, I learnt what crunchy meant tonight.
That's
lovely. Means you're left. You're a lefty because I'm thinking, crunchy top. That's got to have some kind of inference to it. And I did. It means you're very you're vegan.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Level 5.
I literally have no idea what you're talking about.
Just on air.
Anyway, no, can't hit anything with a shadow. But no, I thought that Don's apron today was really on point. It was a really cool one.
I'd like to call... Okay, I've got a jingle for this segment. Oh, Don's apron.
And I ask you, are they any good? Yes, they are. All right, so let's get into it. We opened up with the golfing joke.
Oh.
And again, it always goes back for me It reminds me of, and I brought up The Simpsons a lot last week, and guess what? Happening again. Use the open face club. The sandwich. Open face club sandwich. I mean, and I like the way that Mel just threw the sandwich forward.
It's great.
No golf swing. She just takes it out of the bag and throws it.
You can't exactly golf swing with half a sandwich, though. You just. But I like, is that because it was cut in half, she could have 2 goes at it?
Yes, which was really good. So it was like you got 2 shots at this one.
Yeah, don't fudge it up. The first one, she just ate it.
Now
damn it, Mel.
we did get what is sometimes the curse of the shed.
So you had us worried, babe.
Bread is my forte. As she's walking in, it's bread is my forte, and I'm like, oh God, don't do that.
Well, is it because she switched it up? She didn't say, this is my week. She said, bread is my forte. Like, it's skirting. It's skirting on the curse.
We had that last week in Canadian. We had the same thing. We had, bread is my thing. And it didn't, the curse, again, was dodged. So I wonder
only because they had a mermaid in the shed.
Well, that is the reason. And wasn't very, used to, dealing with bread because it disintegrates in water, as we've talked about before. Now, signature baked this week was you had to make 12 scrolls.
Indeed.
Now, these scrolls could contain any form of Hebrew verse that you wanted. And could be used in any special religious occasion in order to celebrate the second coming. And... Oh, wait. No, that's the wrong
scrolls.
Hang on, that's the wrong page.
Scrolls,
Let me just swap. Oh, okay.
That's for our religious podcast.
That's save it for the religious podcast. And meanwhile, okay, so I've got it right now. So these scrolls were used to summon dragons from another portal, and...
No, that's the Elder Scrolls.
Oh, shit. Sorry. Okay, we're getting...
Next scrolls, that was from our gaming podcast. Okay,
next one, moving on.
Yeah.
These were 12... Oh, edible scrolls.
Yes, here we are. Right page.
They're a thing, are they?
They are a thing.
Okay, so 12 scrolls. They had to be identical and they had to be decorated.
Don't get them mixed up, because if you eat the first one, then you blaspheme. Eat the second one, you go
to a portal with demons, and that's weird.
Yeah.
So what was interesting though was Sue talking about the idea of bread as my forte. But then when they cut back to Sue to talk about bread, she goes, "Oh, we always forget something in the bread, whether it be salt or whether it be some flour or some oil or some butter." I'm like. Do you remember anything in your bread, Sue?
No. She's using the word forte as in loud. Bread is my loud. Like, she bakes bread loudly. Everyone in the tent had to wear earmuffs. She didn't see this because they photoshopped them out.
Everything.
Where's the salt? I did not put salt in this. Oh my God, I forgot the yeast. I'm being loud because bread is my forte.
But I love the fact that you have on one hand bread is my forte, and on the other hand we always forget something but we make it up in the end.
Yes.
I'm like, that's not really how baking works.
Biscuits will be her pianissimo.
Oh, I hope so.
I know. Get all the musical
really hope so. Now Dennis talked about his bread and he... Poor Dennis.
I was worried about Dennis tonight.
I was really...
He did not look happy.
I was worried for... He looked... And he had his I'm 70 button on. So it was obviously his birthday.
Oh, but he had that on last week.
Well, okay, it's obviously been his birthday in that, week.
Oh, no.
Poor Dennis, because he just seemed so sad.
Oh, I just wanted to go into the shed and give him a big hug.
And everything that he did, fell apart.
It really did feel like Pooh and Tigger and Piglet were going to come in and try and...
cheer him up.
Drag him on one of their adventures.
It's so... Dennis started off, though, he was talking about, it starts sticky, and then it gets better as it goes.
You're right, Dennis.
And Dennis was the
when
quote...
When things start off sticky, they certainly do go better as it goes.
Dennis was the quotable.
You've set the right mood there, really set the tone. Obviously, they're interested.
Yeah, he was the quotable this week. So, Anson, the vegan, was my kind of vegan.
Pork.
Because we opened up with Anson the vegan cooking pork, and
I have to really question if the veganism is just a dietary enforcement, because is it morally acceptable for vegans to go, well, fuck it, I've got no mandate where I have to cook meat,
his partner's not,
but I'm going to make meat.
Didn't they say his partner's not vegan?
No, he just cooks
I'm
it
sure
for
there
his
was.
friends.
Yeah, but I'm sure there was something about that. They mentioned that last week. That he does cook
that's a different
non-vegan
kind of
things.
sausage he serves up for his partner.
Moving on.
Sorry, Anson, that was just there hanging.
That was cheap.
Like some fruit.
That was cheap, but
It was low.
It was very low fruit. But the pork thing,
Yes,
was interesting
sausage.
for a vegan. Interesting for a vegan.
Yes.
So
I mean, the pigs are vegan. Oh no, pigs aren't vegan.
no, they're very much not vegan. Pigs will eat any meat that's in the.
That's true. I saw Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. No, Snatch.
Yeah, they're all the same movie.
Yeah.
Guy Ritchie just filmed everybody for the space of a year and then just combined the footage into like 3
There's a
different
new one
films.
coming out next year. It's going to have Hugh Grant as a mobster. I really want to see it.
Is it called Crotch?
I hope so.
So you got Snatch, you got Lock, Stock. Where are we going to go with it this time? It's
Lock,
gonna be
Snatch.
Lock, Snatch. Snatch Stock.
As long as he did King Arthur too, didn't he?
I don't know.
As long as he doesn't go that bad.
I don't know.
That was pretty shit.
What I'm disappointed with is there's not really a role for Vinnie Jones in King Arthur. Right? Surely he's got to play like a bit of a lovable larrikin, and you can't really play King Arthur as a lovable larrikin. I got here with my round table. He only done himself a mischief on the end of a sword. That's what Galahad's done. He's done himself a mischief on the end of the sword.
I do believe I found the chalice. Anyway, back at the ranch.
Back to the ranch. So pork, rhubarb, and caramelised onion scrolls are what Anson was making.
I mean, I loved his concept. Like the pork buns.
Now,
down for that.
I've got to say, I feel horrendously bad for poor Annette. Now, there's a couple of reasons why. First of all, we found out that she did karate and therefore could kill me. And therefore, I really do feel bad for you, Annette, because I'd like to live. But more,
she had a blue belt. My niece got her blue belt last week.
Are you comparing Annette's karate ability to your niece?
Look,
that feels dangerous.
If she's graded the same way my niece is, who's basically, if you've shown up for this X amount of weeks and you can like break a board in half, you're totally getting your next belt.
Your niece can also hurt people.
Annette can totally hurt people.
100%. But the other reason why I felt bad was Annette tried something that never fails.
Booze.
It failed. Because for some reason, Maggie Beer decided that there was too much. And I don't know what happened to Maggie.
What is this hell dimension we've fallen through? It's like Buffy. We're like going to find good Matt and bad Matt like fighting each other at some point.
I'm a bit worried about Maggie.
Maggie's going to come out with like veins all over her body. Like Bad Willow just dressed in a corset going, bored now, time to bake.
So they were adult cinnamon scrolls with rum. And I thought, there we go. There's a surefire winner.
Yep.
Also, everyone should really be happy that I took booze off the game card this week because, dear God, for a bread week, there was a lot of booze involved.
What did Annette say? She said something about bread isn't quite my jam or my forte or something. And then she's measuring out the spice and completely misses the spoon.
Yeah.
And I've just gone, neither is measuring.
Now...
So she just whacked more in.
Now, where the curse did sort of come into hand though this week though was Wynn, because Wynn started off by talking about his mother in the bakery.
Yeah,
he ran his mother in the bakery all the time growing up.
Look, Wynn,
and he said, "Look, I was around baking a lot, so I really feel like I need to get this right in honour of my mother." That didn't go to plan.
Look, Wynn, my ancestors who first came to Australia from Scotland, i.e. the McGlashans and Perthshire. See, I can claim it, and see, my accent's really good. And when we talk to Annette, she's going to be like, oh, it's my brethren from Scotland. I can totally tell. Anyway, I found out they're bakers. Like, not their last name, obviously, because that's McGlashan.
Yeah.
But they were bakers.
They were bakers?
Yeah, down the south coast of New South Wales.
Oh, wow. There you go.
Yeah,
that's
baked
something.
Bread.
You learn something new every day, love. So family favourites are what Wynn was making.
Baking was one of my family favourites when they first came out.
Apparently so. So what we were doing is, it was family favourites, which were walnuts, lemon zest, and cream cheese.
Yum.
Cream cheese was around a fair bit And I've got to say, a big shout out, of course, to everyone in production. And my main reason for that is I love the fact that they've gone out and printed the labels for all the containers.
Yes, they're like, well, you're not sponsoring us, so fuck you guys.
So I really do, as I said...
But I appreciate that.
I mean, I like that as well. And we did tell everyone...
Unlike Kiwi Bakeoff, where you couldn't fucking just have a tinned... Like, use a fresh pineapple without having a doll sticker thrown around.
They literally had to put a doll sticker next to them all. It was hilarious. But... Sorry, I know we keep on beating up on Kiwi Bakeoff, and any of the Kiwi bakers, we've already told you guys, we love you.
The bakers were awesome.
But the show format is atrocious, and it makes you...
God.
And it makes you feel really happy to have this.
Yes.
Because this is beautiful.
Australian Bakeoff is perfect.
Yep, and we need
to preserve it.
This is absolutely...
precisely as it is.
This is absolutely beautiful in comparison.
Yes.
So Don...
Yes.
Now, Don, of course, as we mentioned. Did you know that Don's been to France?
No, I had no idea.
No idea? No.
Do you reckon it's real? Like a couple of other people that may have been the cause of us starting a...
Paul and Tegan. No, I think he's definitely been.
Did, yes.
He's actually been. Fig, chestnut, white chocolate, vanilla bean, and cream. Fair amount in there, but it all sounds like it works.
Yeah.
Now, Laura did also go the booze route, but Laura also did something else that was brave. And I do need to point out at this point, all of these bakers,
yep,
you need to pay attention to previous series. And
absolutely.
If you are planning, if you are out there listening and the Caster Sugar commercial was on during the show, advertising for next series, if you want to go on the show. Brandon. But more importantly, pay attention to what the judges might like or not like.
Yes.
Now, this happened twice tonight, and it cost somebody. But I thought that Laura was brave because she went rum and raisin, which is fine, and that's good, and that's a very Maggie beer sentiment.
Absolutely.
Pecan.
Ooh.
Maggie hates pecans.
I'm a Matt. I love pecans, but, you know, if I'm cooking for Maggie, no pecans will there be peeking in my...
Can. Anyway, but as I said on Twitter, last year...
She's pecan't.
Last season, Barb...
Cannot.
Last season, Barb...
don't even bother. Yes, Barb.
Barb was able to distract Maggie while making an entire structure involving pecans, and to the point where Maggie was like, I don't mind them. I like them in this. And as we get to the judging here with Laura, she said that, you know, the pecans, like, they blended.
Yes, they were hidden. They were camouflaged.
Like, I like that she's painted each individual one.
Now, they tried Laura's before Annette's or vice versa?
Yes.
Okay, because I'm thinking maybe Laura put too much...
No, they tried Laura's after.
Oh,
no, they tried Laura's after.
Oh, so maybe Annette's boozing of it up changed Maggie's taste buds.
So by the time they got to Laura's, they had a built-up resistance.
Yes.
Okay, maybe. Sue. No, let's do Dennis first. So Dennis.
Yeah.
Because it was another Dennis quote. There's only so many times you can chop a date until your finger gets in the way.
How many times has this happened to you, Dennis?
Words to live life by.
And was there finger in that date?
Yeah, was he commenting
tonight?
Was he commenting on that in a vague idea, or was he actually warning the judges of what was contained inside his scroll?
How consistently do you get fingers in your date, Dennis?
So Sue made lemonade.
I presume it can only be up to 10 times.
So
although
Sue,
you can still slither fingers into your date.
So Sue. Your mind is completely in the gutter this evening.
Oh, where else would it be? I'm the mayoress of the gutter. I got that title a few years ago.
So Sue made
Long live the felching. Keep going.
So Sue made Lebanese scrolls with shenklish, the cheese.
Nice.
Which
looks delicious.
It looked amazing.
I liked how her bread looked nice and thin and crispy. Like
I liked at the end when they finished up the set of scrolls, and like and then Laura came over and was looking at it. Oh, they look really good, and she's feeding her.
But what I liked is you could tell Sue's a professional feeder, like in terms of like children and grandchildren and stuff. She turned and she only had to kind of like vaguely see where Laura's mouth was in order to be able to shove it.
Yeah, she just knew. There it is.
Talking her,
there it is.
Away.
You have that. So Dennis, after all this, was making Chelsea buns. No, that's Chelsea Dagger. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
But
oh, look, I'm a blonde woman who doesn't believe in vaccinations.
No.
That's Chelsea Handler.
Yeah, right, that's the wrong one. Anyway, although there is a Bakeoff tie to Chelsea Handler.
Is there?
One of my favourite put downs that I've ever heard online.
Yeah.
One in the videos where they're like, comedians burn people.
Mm-hmm.
And Chelsea Handler, when she had that fucking stupid show in America, had guests on, and one of the guests at the time was Noel Fielding.
Wow.
And there was a comment where she turned around and talked about the idea of Paraguay, and I had no idea that was it Paraguay. I think it is. She goes, Paraguay was in South America. I had no idea. Did you know that? And he was on. I can't remember who the other guest was. And he goes, yeah, we're from England, so we actually have schooling. So it just and you just saw her just sort of shrink back into a shell. So then we had Dan. So Dan had his Italian scrolls. What I did notice is everyone kept in this first challenge really tightly to their cultural backgrounds.
Yeah, except Anston, he's Saudi and Middle Eastern.
But also you could argue his cultural background is vegan. So you could argue that he didn't get to that at all.
That even is wrong because he used pork. So
that's what I said.
Except Anston. Okay.
But
right.
Dennis.
Yep, Italiano.
No, Dennis made Chelsea buns.
Dennis Chelsea buns, sorry.
Sue made Lebanese.
Annette made haggis.
She did use booze.
Okay.
Which is kind of a Scottish then.
Deep fried Mars bars.
Dan used Italian, so it was gorgonzola, caramelised onion and burnt butter. And as he said, who doesn't like burnt butter? And I went, thank you. There's the game card. And then Angela made American scrolls.
Which are basically cinnamon scrolls, but I want to go to Angela's house for Christmas breakfast.
Oh, so do I.
It'll be really tricky, though, because she's in Adelaide, which is half an hour behind random Australian city.
And miscellaneous Australian city.
And we have to get to my mum's issue.
And about 5.5 years ahead of Queensland. So... Sorry, guys. Anyway, but this is where she said, about talking about making those for Christmas. To which Mel replied with, well, my mum made, nothing. I'll get a call for that.
Then we found out later a lot of Mel's mum's bakes were brown and salty.
Yes. So
just imagining her serving up the Cocoa Pops.
So if anything...
That's so sad.
Just like a chocolate milkshake, only salty. But it's probably then a good thing that she didn't serve anything up on Christmas then. So Sunny was ultra specific with the way that she was doing everything. She was measuring absolutely precisely. And her theory was, I'm making smaller scrolls than everyone else because I want to make sure that they cook.
Yeah.
And that was the task. So, again, we've seen a lot of flavours in this and then Canadian Bakeoff.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of corresponding flavours going on in this bread week. It's fascinating.
It's just in the zeitgeist.
It's in the zeitgeist. She could also, however, and this is what I also loved, because we're learning a lot about these people. What I learned about Sunny tonight...
She's a scientist.
We're near that bit.
She's a potter.
That was where I was going with it. You know what she could be on?
Oh,
Love Productions, of course, are also the producers of
the Great
Pottery Throwdown.
Yes.
So Sunny, once this Bakeoff adventure finishes, could go on to Pottery Throwdown.
Shit, yeah. Oh, that would be so awesome. And then she
can become a glass blower and she can go on Blown Away.
Oh my God, yes. And then she can become a stitcher and go on the great
quilting. Was it the quilting thing?
Yeah,
I don't know what it is. There's a quilting one.
There's a quilting
Love
one.
Productions make everything. They don't make Blown Away, but I just wanted to throw that in there because I'd love to see someone in there on Blown Away. David was being really smart and he decided to do an extra one.
Yes.
Just in case. But what was really interesting about his bench, and it was almost like David had prepared, because David was making beetroot dough, which came in handy in the next bake where you had to make a beetroot bread.
What I liked is I wish that he'd have just done beetroot for the hell of it.
Yeah.
In his showstopper.
Just to continue a theme.
Yeah, use up any of the extras.
Beetroot pretzels. So it was his savoury one was beetroot dough, caramelised onion, and feta. With the caramelised onion and the feta sounds really good to me. Beetroot, yeah, but the first two sound good.
I'm there for it all, David.
Now, at this point, we go back to Dennis. But it was really funny because Dennis sounded at this point, he put his stuff in the oven.
Yeah.
And he was talking about the temperature, but the way that he says it and that particular type of English accent, it made him sound like he was a darts caller practicing at like a low volume. He put it in the oven and he looks at it and he goes, 180. And I was like warming up for the 180.
Well, you know he'd actually mean it because we find out later he's got a thermal gun.
100%.
Like, this guy is just temperature controlling the shed.
So,
I reckon he has a holster for it.
I think so too. And we also learned tonight, far more importantly than any of this, and hopefully we get the chance to talk to Annette about this, that she said the phrase, my sticky rum drizzle.
My sticky rum drizzle.
Now, in a Scottish accent.
Oh, yes, Sassenach.
Not yours, in a Scottish accent.
In a Scottish accent? What do you call this? I'm the queen of accents. If I say this is a Scottish accent, it's a fucking Scottish accent. I've seen Acid House. I've seen Trainspotting. I know. I've seen Outlander. I'm totally Scottish.
Please, Annette, don't take this as the wrong way. But my sticky rum drizzle might be the greatest sentence uttered in Scottish. Just putting it out there. Might be the best thing we've ever heard.
I think a whole bunch of Outlander fans will disagree because Sassenach is what makes the panties drop.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Sassenach is what makes the panties drop.
It is. Sassenach is what makes the panties drop.
Tweet us about that. No, don't. Don't do that. All right, so the judging, because we're still on the
fucking first challenge.
All right.
So good.
So Don, and Matt decides to mess with him at the start and goes, "We asked for 12 identical. You just given us one." And then later he's like, "I love when they do that." Now they said it was really sweet, but the dough was really good. It was fluffy. It was like, look, I think Don was genuinely in the running this week.
His Don is good.
His Don is good. Annette, now they said that they don't mind when they're all together, which we just heard, but as long as they look the same. And Matt said, unfortunately, they didn't.
They all had too much individual personality.
Well, they did, because there was interesting thing, because Matt complained there was too much spice, which is normally what you would consider to be a Maggie complaint.
Yes.
And then Maggie complained about the amount of rum, and I was...
What hell dimension have we been transported into?
It was horrible. Then we've got...
You saw the little black veins on Maggie coming up, though, and I reckon she was wearing a Maggie corset.
Anyway, David, they said they were all identical. They said there was a really good balance with the cheese on David's ones. Mm-hmm. Matt just wanted them cooked a little bit longer because he said, I want a bit of crisp on them. Mm-hmm. Now, we then had Angela, and Angela's, they said, had good balance, and the cinnamon was really good.
Yeah.
Angela seems to cook really well with cinnamon.
Yeah, it's her thing.
It's her thing.
She's the cinnamon queen.
Wins. So Wins, they said, had quite good flavour to them, and they used Granny Smith.
Good choice.
And they said it was the right apple to use, which is you like compliments like that. Yeah. Dennis, they said some of them were lacking scroll, which is not bad considering it was a scroll challenge. They said that they looked a bit blonde. They definitely needed a bit more cooking. Poor Dennis.
They were only 2 shades off, most Englishmen's butts.
My argument was he was making a Chelsea bun, and therefore he just made a Chelsea bun. Sue, they said the flavours were amazing and the dough was really good. Anson's, they said the dough balancing against the pork was delicious. The dough was nice and soft, and then Maggie compared it to just like a lunch. She's like, you got the dough, you got the pork. It's a lunch. Laura, they said they were big and generous, and that was kind of a bit of a theme of most of Laura's bakes throughout the... Like, when we get...
Who was doing the giant bakes last year? Because Laura is... Chris. Laura is picking up Chris's mantle.
God, I hope... Laura, for your sake, because you don't look as tall as Chris is, and you don't look as big as Chris is, I hope for your sake there's no trifle challenge.
Maybe they're
because you might get lost. You might get lost in the trifle.
She just wheels in like a pool, like an above ground pool to serve the trifle in.
No, she actually just goes and fills up like they're on the bay.
Oh, just the bay
Everyone else is in the shed. And
They're like, there at Cabarita.
They're like, have you seen Laura anywhere? And she's just down near the bay at Cabarita, like pouring stuff in. What are you doing? It's going to set.
Ladies and gentlemen, the ferry to Cabarita will be late tonight. Unfortunately, there seems to be a trifle incident.
We apparently seem to be a trifle delayed.
People, get your spoons ready. We're going to have to eat our way home.
Somebody turn Cabarita into a trifle. That's it. It's got to happen now. Dan, they said the individual ones are good. He had some still joined, and he said those were a bit under. And Dan was like, yeah, I know. I hope you wouldn't look at those ones. That's why I left them joined. The cheese was nice. They said the onion wasn't cooked enough properly, though, and the bake was a bit inconsistent. Sonny's.
You know what Dan used as well?
Yeah.
Ba-da-da-boom-boom.
He did. He indeed used the herbs.
The herbs to disguise it.
Sonny.
Yes.
They said they looked amazing. They were a bit smaller, but Maggie didn't mind the fact they were a bit smaller. Matt was complaining he'd have to eat at least 2.
Yeah.
They said that the mint balance was really nice to help out balance all the flavours. And they just kept on, like the dough, they just kept on gushing over the dough. They thought the dough was insanely good.
And as we know, the dough is do or die, or whatever that line was tonight.
The dough is do or die.
Yes.
That's sure.
No, there was a thing.
I know there was a thing.
You live or die by the dough?
Something along those lines. It does. I mean, it sounds like a bad Steven Seagal movie, really.
Or it's the new catch line to snatch lock.
Snatch lock. Lock, snatch, and barrels.
Lock, snatch, and pretzels.
Doesn't sound weird at all. Anyway, moving on. So the technical this week is a Maggie.
Uh-huh.
It was a Maggie technical.
And just as I was about to yell at, oh my god, this means it has to have verjuice, we see the ingredients revealed, and there it was.
They didn't list it at all, but it was there. You can quite clearly see the bottle of verjuice.
Love verjuice.
Alongside the Cobram Estate olive oil.
Yes.
So it was a rye and beetroot bread. They had 3 hours to do it. Now, Laura at this point goes, rye, I don't really like rye. I think rye is an old people's bread. Laura, I agree. I'm with you 100%. A couple of reasons I say this.
Why?
Rye and wholemeal and all of those breads. A, you see them on the menu at nursing homes. B,
how many nursing homes do you go to and inspect the menus?
to be fair, I had grandparents who used to tour nursing homes doing performances. I've seen more than my fair share of nursing home kitchens.
Fine.
And so I can actually vouch for this.
Okay.
But more importantly, the only people I've ever seen actually eating wholemeal or rye or any of those sorts of breads were my grandparents. And I automatically ascribe those sorts of breads with older people. So I understand exactly where Laura is coming from. Also, if you remember correctly, what constitutes bread? If you ask a certain former winner of the Great Australian Bakeoff, what would Olivia tell you is bread?
White bread.
Thank you very much.
It doesn't make you the expert on bread.
I rest my...
Is she even star baker in Bread Week?
Which one of the three of us involved in this conversation, one of whom's not here, but still, which one of the three of us has a cake tray that says winner of the Great Australian Bake-Off? And if it's you, where did you get it?
I just filched it from the grand final.
Okay, so please, debate me and tell me that Debate me and tell me that rye is not an old person's bread.
Look, I'm not going to deny that, but I think rye can be enjoyed by all age groups. Probably not teenagers, because they are just totes not into carbs and shit these days. But rye is quite a delightful bread.
Actually, teenagers are still into carbs. It's the early 20s that aren't.
Okay, your early 20s...
Teenagers live for carbs.
Ketoing vegans. Like, it really does sound... Ketoing vegans...
How the hell are you a ketoing vegan?
Really feels like you're about to, like, become a Scientologist.
How would you be a keto vegan? That's... God, that's a trick...
You just have to lick moss, I guess. You just pick up, oh, that's a fine mossy stone. I'll take that for lunch.
Ironically enough, you're talking about the solution for a ketoing vegan is to lick moss.
Oh, look, my fish have grown algae. I will lick that off.
And you were worried about people turning Scientologist. And ironically enough, who's a famous Scientologist?
Who?
Elizabeth Moss. I rest my case. Anyway, now what was interesting about this bake was... Maggie decided to mess with them She didn't tell them how long the proving had to be. Normally you do the long one first and then a short prove at the end. Maggie, for this bread, it's flipped.
Yep.
That was tricky, and most of them got it confused. Now, what I found interesting was they cut to Dennis.
Yes.
Who seemed confused by the whole event. I love Dennis. Really love Dennis. This is something I need to make really plain. There's no picking on Dennis here. I felt so bad for him through the whole. And again, Dennis,
I want to hug him.
I don't like beetroot, so this was horrible for me. But when Dennis said the phrase beetroot powder in his very British accent, it sounded like early Monty Python. Because in early Monty Python, they had a bit where they used to cut back to someone in the thing who would be just standing going, lemon curry, and then they'd cut to another sketch. And I just, beetroot powder. It had that Python sort of esque value to it. I loved it. I thought it was great.
And now something completely different.
A man whose bread seemed to disagree with him because he forgot the flour.
Yes.
So Dennis is like, my bread doesn't seem to be agreeing with me. It's ultra sticky. I don't know why it's still sticky. It's not doing anything. And then they cut back to him and he goes, I forgot the plain flour. No wonder it won't stop being sticky.
So he mixed that up.
And then everyone put it in for the first prove, which is great. And the reason why I love the first prove is it then leads to the montage of everyone poking their dough.
Polka-do, polka-do,
polka-do, do-do, polka-do, polka-do.
Chicken or a cow. Polka-do, polka-do. I'm kind of appropriating the hey it's Saturday.
I know what you were. I like the way you had to explain what you were appropriating. I knew what you were appropriating.
You were looking at me in ultra disgust.
I was. So Wynn wasn't happy with a single thing that he did in this one. He didn't decide to do the normal slits. He decided to make a star.
He was just summoning a bread demon to try and help him out.
Again, I felt for poor Wynn because he's like, turns around to Claire and he goes, you need to make it your own, don't you? You need to give it your own personal flair and identity. And Claire then had to explain to him the concept of the technical. She's like, no, that's actually against what the technical is.
You just do what it says on the page, you know? You've got this... Save your flair and individuality for the next challenge,
Save your flair and individuality for the challenges where you haven't used it so far.
Signature.
Do it there.
In the title, your signature bake.
Showstopper. Do something to stand out.
Technical. Just go become a sheep. Herd like. Just herd yourself into... Just be basic. Be a basic bitch.
Now, David decided to go along with his proofing to the point where everyone else had put theirs in, and David's like, I haven't taken mine out of the drawer yet. I'll get there eventually, which ended up working beautifully for him. Now, at this point, we cut back to Dennis's bench.
You're a wizard, Dennis.
And apparently, a very, very powerful wizard.
He cracked his bread.
Unfortunately, Dennis's wizardry was too powerful.
And too much power.
Just split it, and then he cuts back in, he looks at it and he goes, it's kind of split completely down the side. That can't be good. Poor Dennis. I just felt so bad for poor Dennis. I felt so bad for poor Dennis. So David waited the last second and he's like, I'm going to put it in right now. I've got exactly an hour. And then everyone else has taken theirs out and they're fanning it, or in Dennis's case, scanning it.
There's no life on this.
And counting it down. So they're all waving over the top of it.
77, 76,
75, 74, 73, 72. And David, they go, you got 1 minute to go. And he looks around and goes, 1 minute? That's plenty of time. And then just in the last second as they go, bakes out, he literally burns his hand on his bread.
Yes.
Took it that close.
You know what he needed?
What?
He needed Dennis's mitts.
He did need the pyroclastic level mitts. So the judging. So Wynn had too many slits. Also,
it was a big slit.
It was underproofed, but his bottom was dense.
Many slits in Wynn.
Was underproofed and his bottom was dense.
Don't like a dense bottom.
Also oversweet.
A dense sweet bottom.
Now, I felt...
Keep going. doing?
Angela's apparently had big slits in it.
Oh, she's a massive slit, that Angela.
Good crisp top, good bread. Dennis, it was overproofed and undercooked.
Oh dear.
What a double whammy that was, Dennis. Well done. Annette's was underproofed, but the cooking was quite good. Dan's, we got our first rustic for the season.
Thank you, Dan.
And the bread was apparently a bit tight, which means it was sort of overworked.
He had a tight bun.
Sonny's was overproofed.
Tight because he's on Insta.
Sonny's was overproofed, and it was like a cake.
Oh.
Laura, they said the crumb of hers was good. Anson looked great, and we got fulsome again. Maggie apparently is stuck on program 7.
She's trying to make fulsome a thing.
Fulsome. Like last week was wholesome and fulsome. This week was just fulsome. Again, Johnny Cash has done the world a favour.
Yes.
Obviously, and by next week we will have a complete ballad of the Fulsome Bakes. Fulsome Prison Bakes. We'll need to come up with that. So if you've got any suggestions for lines on that one, please feel free, because by next week I plan to learn.
Probably Annette from the solitary baker shed.
Yes.
She's been sent.
I'm just visiting Fulsome Bakehouse. I got my bread a bit too tight. So David's, they said, was well proofed, was good eating. Matt goes, that's my type of bread.
I came up with the fucking recipe.
He was very awkward tonight, Matt, at times. It was weird. I felt bad for Sue because they opened it up by looking at it going, well, no.
Oh, dear.
And they said, she clearly hasn't kneaded his bread enough.
Sue's like, I'm a fucking grandmother. I'm pushing 70. And you want me to hand knead bread?
Yeah, fuck off.
But she did say it was her forte. Obviously, being loud with it.
So Don's, they said, looks good. Is Don. Is good. They said a good distribution of spice. Unfortunately, they said it was doughy in the middle. And Matt said basically, if it wasn't doughy in the middle, it probably wins. So Wins was 11th. Dennis was 10th.
Wins wasn't win.
No. Sonny was 9th. Sue was 8th. Laura was 7th. Annette was 6th. Don was 5th. Dan was 4th. Angela was 3rd. Anson was 2nd. And David was 1st. And I do need to say, once again, dear God, with Matt and Maggie reading that out, that is a pain in the ass to keep up with.
I'm like, do you need to pause? He's like, yes.
I had to rewind. I had to rewind the episode.
You had to be kind and rewind.
I had to do it. And at this point, they cut back and they talked about who's in trouble and who's not. But what I found interesting was they referred to Wynn as the seesaw of the season.
Well, better to be the seesaw rather than the
bookend?
The bookend, the monkey bars.
Yeah. Do you want to be the trapeze? Do you want to be the slippery dip? The slippery dip of the season. Who wants to be the slippery dip of the season? Because once you get on it, it's all downhill.
Well, I presume that was Z last week, unfortunately.
Yeah, once you get all downhill.
It's a lot of effort to get up the top, and then it's very quick down to the bottom.
It's a fast trip down the bottom. Especially when Matt...
Fun ride, though.
Especially when Matt Moran is far too focused on your sandcastle building abilities. Anyway, the showstopper, 24 soft pretzels.
I'd like to think now that Z is going to enter Sculptures by the Sea.
I hope
so. Just honing her skills to go, fuck you.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Sculptures by the Z.
Oh,
See what I did there? Anyway.
Didn't Z'd.
So, 24 soft pretzels, half sweet, half savoury. And they had 4 hours to complete this challenge. So, pretzels.
Did they make you thirsty?
They did. More importantly, now again, we talked about this. We're banded for a good pretzel.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Interestingly enough, again, Aldi.
Best pretzels.
Amazing pretzels. When the Aldi pretzels come in, I do tend to load up like the freezer full of pretzels.
Yeah, they don't last long though.
They don't last long.
And they're never in stock long.
No, they're not. So, Sue. So Sue had one which was date and cardamom, and the other one was sesame seeds.
So she didn't get any finger in a date?
No, I don't think she did.
That's just Dennis's job, fingering dates. Come on, keep moving.
Annette.
It's like you're hearing something dirty when I'm just saying fingering dates.
Anyway, Annette. Annette was the second person that hasn't paid attention to previous episodes.
No.
Because Annette
Let's put chili in this bitch.
And they looked at Maggie like, is there? And Annette's like, oh, do you not like chili? And everyone at home goes, fucking duh.
Annette, surely when you did your citizenship test,
there have been some moments.
after the Don Bradman question comes the Maggie Beer's most hated foods are.
Now, it's really interesting because there's a couple of things we all know Maggie hates. By the logic of the way this series has gone so far, bubblegum next week.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we're going to get an Emma recreation of bubblegum. So, chili. And the chili had cheese and dark chocolate. Which I would have liked that. I like all
sounds
those
good.
things. The sweet one was cinnamon and ginger.
Yum.
Dan. Now, Dan, we'll start off with his sweet ones were cannoli, basically, which was a really cool idea.
Yeah.
But fuck that.
Let's get to his BBCs.
Let's get to the squiddings.
Sorry, BBPs. Big black pretzels.
Thank you for that. The squid ink. They looked incredible.
They were amazing.
Squid ink and fig with prosciutto.
And I would love to see him do dildo-shaped pretzels in that because it looked really cool. And could you imagine just penis pretzels made with that squid ink dough? It'd be hilarious. I wish I had a bachelorette party I was doing. Anyone want to get married just so I can ask Dan to make us BBPs?
So...
Big salty BBPs. And you can bite the end and then there'll be like this creamy stuff that comes out.
I have no idea what's going on tonight.
Although if you do bite the end, I think blood would actually come out.
So Sunny can no longer taste garlic.
These are pretzels, not actual penises.
Sunny could no longer taste garlic because it's all she could smell.
Oh, Sunny.
And so she come over and go to Laura, does it have garlic flavouring in it? I can no longer taste garlic.
When she's going back to the apartment, it's just this one pale nocturnal resident that lives in the apartments next door just comes out and goes and walks away as Sunny walks past.
So Wynn went back and had a bit of a think because he's like, it's not working for me. So he came back and he goes, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to do things that I like. So he made the triple choc ones for his sweets. Mm-hmm. And his savoury, I really like the idea. He did shredded biltong.
Great job, Wynn.
With beer. Which you've got to do both of those things.
Because he's like, it's pretzels. What goes well with, like, pretzels? Beer. What goes well with beer? Fucking...
Biltong!
Biltong. Bloody brilliant, mate.
It was look, using the South African heritage well.
Yes.
And I liked the whole
concept.
concept.
It's pronounced South Africa. There we go. Bring on the accent, see?
Oh, shit.
I've watched Black Panther. I know what's going on.
Anyway, David.
And Ursula Carlson.
Anyway, David had banana ones as his sweet ones.
Have a banana.
And roasted garlic and parmesan. We had a few people who did roasted
garlic.
We had a few people who did roasted garlic and parmesan. But David was the only one who did this, and then Matt Moran turned around and told him, "This is your week."
Oh.
And I'm like, are you trying to curse him?
Just step back, Matt. Or is it a blessing because it's coming from the judge? Like if you say it as a contestant, it's a curse. But if a judge says it, it's a blessing because Matt is essentially the Pope of the Shed.
Yeah, it could work. I mean, he is kind of the Pope of the Shed. I mean, I don't think he's got a Pope Mobile, but I think they need to... The Maggie copter could double as the Pope Mobile. Like if she gives him a lift. Give him a lift.
Absolutely. When she brings in a Maggie copter that's got all glass.
When he's not like...
It's a fishbowl on his head.
When he's not, as we established last week, hanging out the front of Aria with binoculars spying on people making sandcastles.
And the nudist beaches.
Exactly. Angela made parmesan roast...
not a sandcastle.
Parmesan, rosemary and garlic ones. Yep. And also cinnamon and dark chocolate. Again, cinnamon. Angela put cinnamon in everything. Don made normal pretzels, which, stroke of genius. And not saying that mildly, Don, normal pretzels in this situation was genius because it just means if you can do a good normal pretzel, they go, oh my God, this tastes like a pretzel, which was Matt Moran's entire judging of your pretzels was... It's a pretzel. Look, it even looks like one.
And I'm down for this. Like, I'm, got to fancy shit up in the shed, but you got to do that with your sweet. And with the savoury, you've gone, no, fuck it. I'm just going to go to the best. And the best kind of pretzel is just one with salt on it, you know, just big, fat, juicy, salty pretzels.
And then we got raspberry and cream for Don's sweet ones. Now, what I liked about this was Claire turned around and said, will it ooze? And Don, I think, trying to be a bit more, classy, go, oh, no, it's not really going to. And Claire was like, but I want mine oozing. I want it to ooze out when I bite it. And then she delivered one of my favourite lines of the night, the ooze will get the ooze.
Yeah.
And then Maggie turns around and goes, can mine ooze?
Okay, this is Bakeoff 2, The Secret of the Ooze. And
I was so disappointed that, Don's first set of pretzels were amazing, and they said the flavour on the raspberry one and the raspberry and cream ones were great, but I was so disappointed they didn't ooze. I was hoping they'd bite into it and there's like explosions of raspberry everywhere.
Don going, I'm just too classy for ooze.
Don goes back to his bench after the judging and goes, that was great. I missed a trick. I so should have made them ooze.
I should have embraced my bogan heritage.
He could have given
them ooze.
He could have given everyone an apron.
Ooh.
And then
Oozy
it could have oozed.
Ooh.
And they could have all had the aprons to protect them from the ooze.
Oh, okay. Yep. All right. I thought you meant the apron
the aprons aren't oozing.
Like you put the apron on and suddenly this ooze comes out.
The ooze get the ooze, Kristie. The ooze gets the ooze. Mm-hmm. Think back to Canadian. Mm-hmm. Jasmine's first cake. What happened?
Oh,
she cut it. It oozed. What did everyone in the pavilion go? Ooh. See? The ooze gets the ooze. Thank you. Sunny.
Came home from something.
Sunny came home from the something.
I don't know what the words are.
The real words or the fake ones? The real words and the fake ones. I know the words. Don't butcher it. Poor Sean Colvin. A lovely song about a woman going home and burning the house. And you're ruining it by saying something every 2.5 seconds.
Well,
Sunny came back to her favourite shed.
Okay.
Sunny sat down in the kitchen. The lines are even there.
Okay. I don't know. I was goth back then.
It's time for a few garlic naan pretzels. Follow with orange and cardamom.
If you want some tea party lyrics in here, I can do that.
Days go by. I don't know why my pretzels taste really good. Anyway.
Okay.
Let's get to Laura. Because you've been waiting for this moment. We have differing views on what this looked like. I'm going to start.
Yep, okay.
Because I will give it some class. Then I'll turn it over to Kristie and she can ruin your lives. So, I was kind and said that it looked like Laura was wrapping Frankfurts.
No. If you throw back to the 80s and the height of class when you knew you were at an adult party as a kid because someone had got their slices of Devon and wrapped a bit of potato salad around. Put potato salad in the middle, wrap the Devon around it, put a toothpick in it. Oh, classy. That's what it looks like, right? Until she put it all together and then boiled it. And at that point, they became prolapsed anuses.
Anyway, so...
Now, it's not human-sized. These were rhino-sized. They were very big prolapsed anuses. Not that I've actually seen a rhino prolapsed anus. I have seen a human one, and I'm like, okay, well,
she was a nurse. She was a nurse.
Yeah, yes. I don't just.
I need to clarify all of these statements. She was a nurse.
Dates,
Anyway,
I didn't have to push it back in. Thank goodness.
Did you have an assistant for that?
No, I was a student.
An assistant prolapse pusher? Anyway,
yeah.
Dennis...
I've also seen a uterus prolapse. It's quite funny. They've got donuts.
I apologise to anyone who is currently eating and trying to listen to this podcast.
If you're eating donuts, because they have different sizes and they just had to kind of work out.
So Dennis made orange and poppy seed, which is a really cool idea.
She's a very little old lady, this little frail old lady.
And also Dennis also made streaky bacon and mozzarella. That was a really good flavour combination. I'm a fan of that one.
That's right, we're talking about Bakeoff. I really need to do my own shit I've seen as a nurse.
You really do that. Save it for the nursing pod.
And then I'll get some other nurses on.
Save it for the nursing pod.
Because I only did a year out, and there's got to be more out there.
So streaky bacon and mozzarella, though. That's a really good idea. Now, Dennis's were really good ideas. Unfortunately, the mozzarella got a bit too heavy-handed. And as he said, they look like mini pizzas, not like pretzels.
Yeah, it's kind of like the McCain's. You've done it again.
Now, Anson used the same dough for both. And the problem for his was they didn't rise.
No.
Now, he did the sweet one, he was marshmallow. That was a cool idea.
I like that idea. I was down for that.
And the brie camembert savoury one was really nice too.
Yeah.
Now, they came over and they were talking about Anson and they're like, you're in the running for Star Baker this week. And I like Claire's response where she goes, what you just heard was there's pressure on you to be Star Baker. What I heard was you'd have to stuff it up really badly to go home at this point. He's
exactly.
Like, that's where I am. I'm not going to lie. I'm just in that headspace of...
At least I'm safe. Live to see another bake in the tent.
Then they cut to Wynn, who looks at it and goes, I overproofed again. And it's like, nothing went right for poor Wynn. No. Then they come back to Laura's and they were fucking massive.
I told you, rhino size.
Anyway, Dennis, as I said, made mini pizzas, but what was really cool was Angela came over and was helping him sort them out. She goes, that one's okay, that one looks good, use that one, don't use that one, use that one.
Surprised Claire and Mel went there just going, that one looks good, that one doesn't look good, I'll just take this one.
They're probably waiting around Laura's because of the idea of how big the bloody things were. It's like, oh good, there's a feast in there. And then when they went five, I was the only person, I don't know if anyone commented, was the only person that noticed that Sue dropped a bunch of hers on the floor and then just picked them up and put them back on the tray?
Oh my God. She did too.
3, 2, she dropped them all on the floor and picked them up and just put them back on the tray.
5 second
The 5 second rule's not a thing.
No, germs don't go, I'm just going to wait. Oh, 5 seconds up, we can jump on now.
Anyway, the judging. Before we get to the judging, however, something far more important we have to talk about.
Oh, there is, yes.
Are you looking for a quality magazine which is focused on cake decorating and
yes, you are.
Sugar art? Of course you are.
If you weren't before, you are now.
You definitely are, because we're going to force you to. And we're going to force you to read Australian Sugarcraft. It is the magazine for you. It's the magazine for me. It's definitely the magazine for Kristie.
And you know who else it's the magazine for?
Who?
Our special guest.
Oh, we got a special guest?
Hello, I'm Guy Ritchie, and I'm here to tell you all about Sugarcraft, Australian Sugarcraft magazine, which is just as awesome as my films. And if you want to see it, then you should get into the Facebook /Australian Sugarcraft. Is that correct? Suddenly I'm Irish. I don't know, I'm very drunk today. Oh, I've got to get back. I'm filming my brand new blockbuster. It's called Snatch Luck, and it stars Hugh Grant and a whole bunch of people being gangsters. It's great. You've never seen anything before like it in your life. Good boy.
Oh my God, I can't believe we had Mr. Madonna here. Like, they were married. That was a thing. That actually happened.
It was,
And it explains why his accent's so funny, though, because Madonna can't work out what country she's from. So, like, Guy Ritchie can work it out. Anyway, it's a full-colour digital magazine. There are step-by-step tutorials. There's recipes. There's tips. There's ideas. It's $19.90 for an annual subscription, and there's 2 issues per year. As Guy Ritchie just said then, go to facebook.com/Australian Sugarcraft. So the judging.
Yeah.
Dan's, they said they looked amazing. So in terms of this, they said that the Dan's looked amazing, especially the squid ink.
Yeah.
They were very rich, however, when they bit into them, not surprisingly.
BBP, people. BBP. BBP can be very rich.
Sonny's, they said, nailed the brief completely. The flavour on the garlic was amazing. The sweet glaze was amazing. The combinations of flavours was just beautiful. So, like, Sonny absolutely nailed those. Anson, they said the colour was good, but they were a bit too flat. And he said, well, they didn't really rise. And then Matt Moran...
You know what he needed? He needed someone from Hamilton that going, rise up.
or Daryl Braithwaite singing his follow-up to Horses, which was Rise. Anyway, I know a random song that no one else remembers. Matt Moran, I'm starting to wonder if Matt Moran is kind of having flashbacks to childhood every week. Because he was talking about the fact they were bloody good to eat. And then he said the sweet ones don't look so bad, but when you grab it, yeah. But then he said... It's like when you're a child and you've got the best push bike, but the push bike's got flat tyres. Last week, sandcastles. This week, bikes with flat tyres.
Maybe he's doing a bit of childhood therapy regression.
Are we getting an insight?
We are. I think Moran is just, remembering the halcyon days of his youth, those salad days.
I'm wondering if
back at the beach with sandcastles, that he had to get there on his awesome bike, but it had a flat tyre.
I'm wondering if we're going to find out the background of Moran Lamb. That could be interesting. So, Laura, they said they were sticky in the middle, they were undercooked, the pesto was the problem.
When he was at school and the kids used to tease him, Maddie has a little lamb, little lamb. And he goes, yeah, and it's going to be the best lamb in Australia. You watch, bozos, I'll show you. Now he has. It's childhood bullying. Sticking it to them.
So the pesto was too thick on Laura's, and that was the problem.
Lamb.
And that was the problem. It basically created like a cocoon around the outside of it, so it meant that the middle didn't cook properly. They said the sweet one was fluffy, but it was more like a brioche, unfortunately. Wynn, they said they look flat, but then Matt turns around and goes, I've seen flatter. And everyone stopped, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Maggie really liked the biltong. Matt said, they smell like meat. Well, I mean, of course they smelt like meat. They were biltong. It's kind of meat. That's the whole general gist of it. Just, really. Anyway. It was good texture. The sweet ones were good, but not chewy. Angela's, they said the savoury was chewiness at its best. Salty, though. That was the problem. They said the sweet one was really nice.
She was the salt bay of the night.
Don, they said, it looked like the perfect pretzel. Perfectly authentic.
And I bet you they didn't catch it on camera, but I bet you Don was doing a bit of salt bay over his pretzels.
I'm assuming so, because he's had the salt on them. They said the sweet one wasn't as chewy, but it was very good. Dennis, they said they were horribly Moorish, but not pretzel-y. The cheese made it extra chewy. The orange and the poppy seed ones, they said, however, the glaze was perfect, and that was really good.
Yeah.
Sue, all they said was, this is so abundant. When Maggie bit into the first one, they go, are they good, Maggie? And Maggie's eyes opened to about 3 times the normal size, and she elbowed Matt and nodded.
And then had to pick the fluff out of his mouth.
Off the floor, obviously. Sweet one was dominated by aniseed. They said that was the problem there.
But not for Maggie.
Annette's, they said, good shape, the rise was good, it was all about the flavour, and unfortunately the savoury had a lot of chilli. And they said that the sweet one had too many things in it and was therefore confused. David's looked amazing. The garlic and the parmesan balanced really well. The sweet ones had good flavour. The banana. They said, we like your salted caramel because you've actually gone to the trouble of making sure there is a real genuine salt in there too.
Yep.
And then we got Maggie's other favourite phrase, good mouth feel.
A fulsome
good mouth feel. The star baker this week was David, and there was not really any competition for that. Unfortunately, it's the end of Annette.
Yeah.
And we're really gutted about that.
Oh, goodbye.
But what I can say to everybody is good news.
Yeah?
Annette will be on the podcast.
Yeah, she will.
So that will be coming in the next few days or so keep your ears open for that, because it'll be really good. We're going to sit down and have a bit of a chat with Annette about her time and just in general. There are a few things from last week. If you check on social media, there are a few things from last week that Annette and myself in particular have to have a discussion about. Iron brew. Anyway, so there'll be lots of Scottish talk. If you're a fan of Scottish talk, not just of Kristie's accents, but of Scottish talk.
And you won't be able to tell the difference, like myself and Annette. Like, it'll be like you're in Glasgow at a pub with 2 Scottish people just talking together with an Australian guy just joining in.
One of the 2 of us has the most Scottish last name you could possibly have.
Listen here, Buchanan.
Anyway, on that note, it is time for us to leave you all alone for the moment, but only briefly, because of course tomorrow, for those who don't remember, tomorrow is the Great Canadian Bakeoff.
And you should find what it's all about.
You need to find it on the ether, and you need to watch it, and it's a really good, really, really good show.
Fabulous season. And it's mythical too. There's a fawn. There was a mermaid.
There was a mermaid. She's gone home, unfortunately, but
I'm sure someone will be revealed as a unicorn.
There's whimsy as far as the eye can see. There's, again, as we said last week, there was a person who we're sure was recreated the film Big. So look forward to that. Also, apart from talking to Annette later on this week, we're also going to have a mini podcast.
Yes.
Because obviously there was a bit of news today around MasterChef.
Yeah.
We're not going to get into that here, obviously. We're going to save that for the mini podcast. But we will be doing something in the next day or so as well. Only be brief. Just to go over our thoughts on the setup for MasterChef going into next season for that.
Yep.
So it's a really busy couple of days here.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to it. It'll be really good, though. Until next week, I'm still Chris.
And I'm still Kristie.
We'll catch you all then.
Ooze.